The joys of life on the run. Now, most of us probably haven't put running a marathon on our list of things we just have to do. Others might totter around the odd event in order to tick a box marked grueling life experiences. But there's a small band of British diehards who have run every London marathon since the event began in 1981. They call themselves the Ever Present Club, and they've done it in rain or shine, with a replacement hip, a broken arm, smashed ribs, whatever. There are 28 men in this elite band, and they're gearing up to add yet more finishers' medals to their haul in future London marathons. Forming the club seemed like a good idea when someone realised 10 years ago that they were the only ones who had done all the runs. But now time is catching up with them. Their ages range from 47 to 80, and some of them could be forgiven for wishing they'd never started. It's a bit of an albatross, admitted the club's coordinator, Mike Peel, who's aged 64. People expect you to keep doing it. It's a big commitment involving at least 3 months of training, running in the cold and the dark, cutting down on alcohol, watching diets, but it keeps us out of our wives' hair, he added. The days when most club members completed the 26-mile course in under 4 hours are mostly gone, but what keeps them going is a genuine love of the event. Mike Peace, who's 56 and a headmaster in Surrey, said, "It's a life-enhancing impact. The London Marathon is one of the best in the world, a great street party, and the friendships in the Ever-Present Club will last forever." He has no intention of stopping. Last year he ran the course in 3 hours 10 minutes, just 1 minute faster than when he ran it 25 years ago as a 31-year-old. Ray Johnson, who's 73 and a retired fireman from Nottingham, has no plans to quit the club either. "I've got a reputation to keep up," he said, "but I must admit I'm starting to struggle a bit. I have to do a bit of a walk and a run towards the end." A 3-hour man in his prime at age 56, he recently ran the race in 5 hours 19 minutes. Once he fell off the roof of his bungalow doing some DIY and ended up running the race with a damaged knee and broken ribs. He, like many others, chuckle over tales of family doctors who hold their hands over their eyes and beg them not to run anymore. Former chef Dale Lyons, who's 69, did the wheelchair version of the race one year, having broken a leg. Another year he ran with a broken arm. In yet another he tossed a pancake all the way and flambéed it at the finish. He's raised over £50,000 for charities and plans to run for Age Concern in the future. Reginald Burbidge, who's 80, is the oldest of the group, having run the first race when he was 54. He runs 30 to 40 miles a week in training and has never owned a car. "The marathon is tortuous, but it's something to achieve," he said. "You've really got to like running. My target? To keep going. I expect I'll get round to doing it in about 6 hours eventually. It's not a real race, only the youngsters think that." Members of the Ever-Present Club come from all walks of life. In the 10 years since their formation, 14 have dropped out, from injury or simply deciding that enough was enough. One died in the way that many club members dream of whilst out on a run. "It's a fraternity," says Chris Finnell. "No one wants to see anyone else drop out." And at just 47, he is both the quickest and the baby of the group. His aim? To make his 50th run round the course in 2031 when he'll be 72.
Staying alive in the face of wartime death. Hunted by German soldiers who executed hostages during his 5 days on the run, grilled by the Gestapo and left to rot in a prisoner of war camp, Spitfire pilot Jimmy Taylor's wartime experiences were the stuff of legend. But at a joyful reunion with fellow pilots at a North Yorkshire airbase, Mr. Taylor, 84 of Chapel Allerton, Leeds, said his survival against the odds were all because of luck. In 1944, Mr. Taylor was posted to No. 16 Squadron, flying Spitfire Mark IIs on reconnaissance duties from an airstrip in France. He was over Germany when his engine failed. He nursed the crippled fighter over occupied Holland, where he landed in a field. Germans believed the resistance was sheltering me, and in an attempt to force them to hand me over, took 12 hostages, he said. Much later, I learned that one had been shot in front of the town hall the day I crashed, and that 3 more had been executed in front of their families. On the first night, to avoid the barbed wire all over the countryside, he swam an ice-cold canal while German guards patrolled a bridge nearby. Despite wrapping his uniform into a bundle, it got soaking wet, and he feared he would catch pneumonia. After hauling himself onto the bank, he found some potatoes and made a fire out of twigs and straw. 2 hours later, his uniform was dry and he had 2 roasted spuds to eat. Navigating by the sun, he headed west along a railway line. On his second night, Mr. Taylor found a rail bridge over the river and hid in a nearby goods yard. Luckily, he discovered most Dutch people wore blue at the time, and with so many uniforms available from crashed aircraft, it was not uncommon to see some in a battle dress. So he took off his wing insignia and covered his rank tabs in mud so he could move by daylight. He passed through a farm full of German soldiers cleaning their horses. He tried to jump on a freight train but fell off. Then he found the train and stopped further up the line and hid in the guard's van until it took him as far west as he needed. Heading south on foot again, he came to a village full of German troops and hid in an orchard where he was found by some Dutch children whose father brought him a plate of mash, a coat, map and a bicycle. He was within 8 miles of Allied territory when a guard near the front became suspicious and he was handed over to the Gestapo for interrogation. I lied saying I was from such and such squadron, Mr. Taylor said, and it seemed that was enough. When I got to the prison camp, Stalag Luft 1, I was scared every time I heard a knock on the door. I had cheated on the Gestapo and that was not a good idea. There's nothing honourable about being a POW. You're there because of luck or fate. Some get killed in action and some survive, but it's all down to luck. An RAF Linton on Ouse spokesman said, Mr. Taylor's story is one of the most moving to come out of the war.
Willow sculptures. When spring starts to creep up on us and the sap begins to rise, Susan Greenhow from the East Riding starts planning, but not what she's going to grow in her garden. She has much bigger ideas on how to decorate compared to the rest of us. While most people are content with hobbies such as collecting stamps or pretty ceramics, she prefers to go for something more unusual. She makes giant sculptures using willow. Susan's garden and that of her daughter are full of weird and wonderful structures peering at you as you walk down her driveway. Giant giraffes, enormous wildebeest, or basking deer are just some of the wonderful sculptures that Susan has made over the years, although she's rather blasé about the whole thing. It's just a hobby, she says, but it is a large one and it does make a mess. In recent years, there's been a tremendous revival of interest in basket making. Many local and regional groups have formed, and day and evening courses are in great demand. The reasons for this upsurge in interest are many. The reaction against mass-produced items, the irresistible feel and scent of willow and other weaving materials, and the desire to take part in one of the oldest crafts known to man. Susan's fascination with basketry started 6 years ago when she bought a book on the subject. I'd always fiddled about and thought I'd have a go at it, she said, but when I bought the book I couldn't work out how to do it. But then I met a woman who made baskets and she suggested I go on a course run by the Basket Makers Association in York. Whilst professional basket makers can make a basket in a day, Susan likes to take her time. Preparation is the key, she says, to making a good basket. Each year Susan goes on a course organised by the Basket Makers Association. There are 1,000 different ways to make a basket, she says, and you can do it out of anything that will bend. I've even learnt how to make a basket out of pine needles. So next time you're planning what to put in your garden, why not be like Susan and have a go at something enormous and sculpted? That'll get the neighbours talking.
Hats off to Panama, as English as a cream tea. The English summer has changed. It is not just the arrival of global warming and GM crops. The cylinder lawnmower has disappeared. The tartan picnic rug has been waterproofed with sticky back plastic, and Glastonbury has become more fashionable than Glyndebourne. And yet one 20th century item has remained constant, the Panama hat. It identifies an Englishman as surely as an unattended beach head towel singles out the German. The stylish headgear is more than a smart accessory. It is a statement of patriotic standing. The Panama is up there with Marmite Soldiers, Sir Trevor MacDonald, and the Daily Telegraph obituaries column. It has survived where the knotted handkerchief failed. It has held out against the ubiquitous baseball cap, the beanie, and the bush hat, and furthermore it flatters the round-faced and rubicund Anglo-Saxons while distinguishing the wheat from the chaff. And yet this singular bit of British kit is as foreign as a chicken vindaloo. It can be traced back to 16th century Incas, who produced it from the tequila plant. Weavers in Ecuador still work by the light of the moon to turn the shards of leaf fibre into rings or vueltas. The cheaper hats take a day or two to weave and have up to 10 vueltas. The finer quality products can have as many as 40 and will cost more than £500 at a good London hatter. The hat was first shown in Europe at the Great Exhibition in Paris in 1855, where one was presented to the then Emperor of France, Napoleon III. It became fashionable with royalty and aristocracy, but its real popularity dates back to the early part of the last century, when workers building the Panama Canal wore it. President Theodore Roosevelt visited the site in 1906 and wore one. That same year, Edward VII turned up to the races at Glorious Goodwood in a summer suit and Panama, a scandalous break from the traditional top hat and tails. The Panama is still worn widely, but it is Britain that has made the hat its own. The Trilby-style hat has been given its air of distinction by individuals ranging from Sir Winston Churchill and Noel Coward to Mick Jagger. Regiments, universities and clubs use the colours on the band to identify fellow members. A salmon pink and turquoise ribbon, for example, belongs to the Garrick Club, while cricket enthusiasts at the MCC sport rhubarb and custard colours.
We hope you've enjoyed the tape, even if it hasn't been the news you were expecting to hear. We'll be back to normal next week, though, so please return your tape to the wallet, take the address label out and put it into the wallet so it's ready to post back to us. Thank you for listening, and goodbye from me, from our engineer John,
And from